Liquid's run continues and OG hope to repeat history. It's Saturday at TI9. We've just finished soaking up all the action on the penultimate day of TI9. Saturday is in the books, 3 series, setting us up for a big Sunday like we all expected. Just a duo pod today, no Adam unfortunately, much to the listeners' displeasure. Our great overlord Adam.
NA overlord is gone.
Yeah.
And NA listeners are gone as well.
Yeah. So just Marco with me. Marco just keeps getting worse.
I mean, today was a funny day because it was kind of like no emotions. Yesterday was, I mean, when you watch a team that you really want to win, you're so invested in the game. It's more than just enjoying good Dota, but it's like even if the team played bad, I'd want them to win just because you support them. So today it was like, I don't know, it was a weird experience. I wanted to see really good Dota, and I did see some cool Dota. Maybe not even the best we've seen yet, honestly, because there was some one-sided series. But yeah, pretty sad day.
Yeah. For me, huge day.
Yeah.
My boys are in the final. Back-to-back is very much on the cards. 3 wins away from effectively completing Dota and shutting down the Dota 2 esports scene forever.
Yeah.
With a back-to-back victory. And we can all hail I guess No-Tail will be the primary candidate for like double A just lifting god tier player, but we'll have to see. Long day ahead. And LGD, if they're not hungry for vengeance before this game, then they are on a whole nother level of hunger after dropping out in the second series that we saw today, the upper bracket final. But before we had that game, we had Vici Gaming versus Secret. Vici Gaming, it really did feel like their stock was falling. I think we said on yesterday's pod, they haven't looked good. You know, last day of groups, they looked quite poor against TNC. They looked terrible against LGD. Then they dropped down to play Secret today, and just another one-sided series, both games being very quick. Game 1, 23 minutes. They bring out the carry Io. Stole his trap, mid one said, but they played it really well in this game, it seemed. And this one felt over quickly, really. As soon as the carry IO came online, it was like go time, and
yeah, the pace of Secret, they hit this 20-minute. I mean, maybe it's before 20 minutes. What is it? A 16-minute Aghanims on IO, and from that it was all doom and gloom. The famous or infamous Ori Snorri Deucer came out. And you kind of think if Vici are going to win with anything, Ori Snorri Deuce is the way to do it, but didn't come online fast enough, and Paparazzi Lesh wasn't as powerful as it probably should have been. It's really rough. 5 kills Vici got in 23 minutes.
Yeah.
That's one of the fastest wins of TI, I'm sure. It's definitely the fastest win of the main event, or one of them. It's crazy. I think it really benefited Secret that they'd played a couple of games in the lower bracket. Because like you say with Vici, lose 2-0 against EG at the end of the groups, fumble against Na'Vi maybe, can't remember, but then they struggle against TNC, they get slapped by LGD, then they face themselves in the lower bracket where it's their first game in the lower bracket, contrast to Secret who have got a couple wins in the lower bracket themselves, so I feel like mentally Secret are in a much stronger place. And then, yeah, they kind of sweat it and cheesed the carry IO that Vici had no answer for.
Yeah, I mean, we saw later in the last series, Secret trying a similar strategy, the carry IO coming out again, and Team Liquid answered it with a very fast-paced, Meepo pick on the end, but more or less just a really fast-paced draft that comes online before IO, gets on top of IO and kills him straight away before he can get to this crazy Aghanims level 15 heart timing that they didn't even need to get there then. Just the Aghanims and the 15 was basically the nail in the coffin. And Vici here go the complete opposite way. They say, we're going to pick Medusa, we're going to let the IO farm, we're going to let the Ori farm. We're going to run at you a bit with our 3 heroes, carry Lesh, quite an aggressive hero, but in the end they just had no damage. DotA was really farmed in this game.
It's meant to be the Lesh, Paparazzi, is meant to be the force that keeps Secret at bay, and Miracle, for example, played a really good Lesh from position 1 later in the day. So I think the idea has some legitimacy to it. But it's weird because I can't really remember why exactly Vici got so stomped.
They just got ran at with IO, and Medusa had no damage. Medusa just couldn't really do anything. You throw out a snake, and that was about all she wrote. They had no real ways of fighting. They skirmished in the sort of dire jungle maybe once or twice with Earth Spirit rolling in around a shrine area. It went okay, but not excellently, and it never really seemed in doubt. Secret all felt on the same page, and Midone had a good performance on Gyro to sort of match the Lesh in terms of who was the dominating tempo core in the game, and then the IO was just much too strong when it did come online versus the Medusa.
Yeah, looking at that graph that you see on DotA Buffer where it shows the kills that happen across the course of the game, there really isn't enough activity from Vici in the first 20 minutes, let alone the first 15 minutes. And then you can see when that 15 to 20 minute comes and IOs hits the Ags, they had no answer and they get crushed. And I think there was some critical team fight that happened around this late minute mark that went wrong, because then at 23 the game was over. Yeah.
They barreled in the bottom lane. Medusa died basically trying to retreat past her bottom tier 3, running away, and it's hard to run away from a super high movement speed IO, and Stampede and obviously Gyrocopter a very fast carry as well.
Yeah, one of the most one-sided games at the main event for sure.
Yeah.
Secret then go, can we one-up that?
With an even faster victory, yeah.
21 minutes, GG, game 2.
20-8. Nishka Bristleback just running at an Alchemist. Alchemist, a hero that in later series felt extremely hard to play against.
Yeah.
But it felt quite easy here with the Bristle that was just kind of out of control, running up onto high grounds with Heavenly Grace and a Tiny ready to blow heroes. Razor, yes, on paper it's good against Omni Knight, Tiny, Bristleback cores, but in reality, you can't chunk into a Bristleback or position 1 Bristleback, say, 10 minutes into the game, 15 minutes into the game, when these big skirmishes are happening around mid-tier 1, so that in order for Secret to unlock the enemy jungle to contest this Alps farm. So it's all well and good getting... I think there was a fight when Ori got like a full duration link on Bristle.
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to hit this Bristle, and Bristle just turns his back, and Ori just dies to quill sprays pretty much.
I think Secret out-drafted Vici, out-strategized them. Not even a strategy, but just draft synergy, because really the Omni Knight paired with the Bristleback was too strong. I think Bristleback on its own, they would have been able to deal with, but Secret first phase pick an Omni Knight, which it's that synergy that takes a hero to a new level, and we'll see in later series, particularly Liquid, they drafted heroes with incredible synergy that I think was taking the drafts to the next level. And I think in this game it's an example of that. The Bristleback plus the Omni Knight combo, it made it strong enough that A, Vici can't kill it with the likes of Razor, which you think is a hard counter, and then B, it was so strong that they just crushed an Alchemist, even though the Alchemist didn't have a good game, didn't have a crazy good game, but yeah, I think the synergy, also the CM pick as well, it's the small things that you might not notice in the laning phase. The CM is enabling Bristleback to put way more pressure on than it could do without a CM, so the draft all comes together to really complement the strength of a Bristleback.
Yeah.
Which without, the game would not be as stompy as this, so I think you've got to put most credit onto the drafting.
Definitely. And I think as we'd come to see later, and we've seen on previous days, particularly today, hero synergies, particularly when you have a position 1 that's the be-all end-all, aka Alchemist, who you pair up with that Alch is super important. Liquid won with it once today, OG won with it twice today, and in all of those games there was a Chen with Magic Resist and Heavenly Grace, and even OG, they picked like a Tide Hunter that for this late game synergy with the super high base attack time plus crazy minus armor, and they pick a Legion commander for the heals and the saves onto this Alk, because in this game, when you've got a Bristle running at you with goo and quills, they don't really have anything all they can do is Bloodlust the Alchemist. That's the only sort of steroid they've got for it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the heroes are like, yeah, we'll put Yang on a Centaur because it's a strong laner and it's pretty strong at all stages. We'll put Ori on a Razor because, that'll help us deal with them. But actually, I think having just 5 heroes that synergize completely really well together turned out to be stronger. And Alchemist was almost... It's like a naked Alchemist draft, this one, versus the ones we'd see later where every hero synergized. Darkseer coming out for the first time, just because this hero's perhaps the best Alk combinatory hero, if that's even a word, with Alk, because of Surge and Iron Shell and all the rest of it. And just picking an Alk on 10 here, and then just sort of trying to pick heroes that seem good in the game, I don't think it cuts it at this stage at TI.
Definitely not. And Secret really proved that against Vici.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad for Vici. Maybe we should mention the Fade interview afterwards where he's nearly balling up on his Casey interview. It's really sad because they know as a team that they kind of crashed out of the event. They got stomped by LGD 2-0.
They knew they had a chance. They were a lot of people's favourites. Yeah. It's in China. Obviously, the Chinese teams are under huge pressure, and Vici are a new squad. Unlike LGD, they don't have TI experience, so the pressure perhaps even more. And I think these players believed they could win it. And when you believe you can win it, and when you think about that and winning in China, to have that stripped away from you, and the cold hard realization that you were just outclassed by 2 teams, LGD and Secret, and then it's all over.
It was brutal.
It was brutal for sure. Yeah, for sure. Second series of the day, upper bracket final, LGD versus OG, same as last year. Same result as last year, 2-1 for OG, although the way the games went were a little different, with LGD picking up game 1. It felt to me kind of like a interesting draft in the sense that there's this Topson Zeus, Seb is on a tree, sorry, not a tree, Seb is on a Nature's Prophet, Jerax is playing a Pangolier, and on the side of LGD, they have these really core heroes that they're just excellent at playing in almost all their drafts, that being Gyro, Oracle, Lion, Tide, and then this X Factor last pick Ember Spirit that they do this incredible build for the game, going Radiance Ags on Ember Spirit, that really I felt just Arme's performance which just destroyed the game, and it just destroyed the things that OG wanted to do, and ended up being the difference, I felt, in a lot of cases, doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I think Arme was, I want to say he was standout, but then at the same time you've got Chalice on his iconic Tide finishing 4-0-16. I think FY was
incredible,
crazy. Yeah. He found a handful of amazing line kills on Blink initiation, or there was some kills on Void. Void had a Lincolns. He had pop the Void's Lincolns and disable him from out of vision.
That was the game-winning moment, I think. He
set up a lot of game-winning kills that were necessary for LGD to get ejected, to get momentum. Maybe's Gyro, really solid. His farm was always very strong, very reliable. So the whole LGD team did play really good, and it was cool to see this OG draft, which was kind of wacky. The heroes we've not seen. I've not seen a 4-position Pango or a Prophet offlane or a Zeus mid. Pretty cool, and they've got synergy in that draft, global synergy. They've got Void, Chrono. I mean, Chrono synergizes with a lot of good stuff. But they had, there was a time top, I think, where they blew Ember, who gets caught out from a Chrono, but then you've got 2 other global spells hitting and a Split Earth that hit him from 2,000 range away. Kind of cool stuff like that. It did take a while for LGD to win, 45 minutes. The kill score's 20-27, so it's quite close. But I think their draft does look a bit better. Zeus, you get a BKB, he's nullified a lot. Pango dropped off very quickly, I think. Ember and Gyro got first item BKB, which I think was very important to to keep them going that game. Because if they didn't get first item BKBs, I think they may have got run over.
Seb had an Orchid extremely early. I can't remember exactly.
I think it was 14-minute Orchid.
14-minute Orchid. And then when Ember saw that came out, he went straight for the BKB.
Yeah, that was really, really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, OG's draft does kind of drop off a bit.
OG definitely gave themselves a chance to win though, right up there. You know, they had gold leads, you know, right up until, you know, half an hour basically into the game, they had a gold lead.
A lot of it was on the
Seb.
Furion.
Yeah. Seb played a hard farming Furion like he always does. Got really good item timings, was doing well. And like Marco mentioned, big chrono on the Dire top shrine. There was a really big fight. I think they got both core kills.
Oh yeah.
And maybe like an FY Lion died as well. There were two moments really that tilted the scales massively in LGD's favour, and that was a Roche fight in which Void dies with Chrono and gets popped, and then LGD run into Roche. Anna holds his buyback for maybe 4 or 5 seconds, then buys back. When Roche is really, really low, he then chronos the Roche pit after Somnus's gyrocopter's already picked up the Aegis.
He's only just picked it up as well.
Yeah, like the split second after. And so the fight they end up taking is bad because the chrono is sort of speculative. Yeah, it's a 2-man chrono, but they've already picked up Aegis. There's not much follow-up because it's sort of quick, it's rushed.
It was a chrono to steal the Roche and Aegis.
Yeah.
And when that failed, it was a fight. I don't think they took the fight.
They tried to get out.
Or maybe some heroes died because they...
Yeah. So then... And also at that point, you've used Void's buyback as well. That fight really flung the game of LGD's favour, and then finally Anna gets caught out without buyback to FY with a mana drain hex combo to break his Lincoln Sphere, and when he died there without buyback, that was the game.
It definitely, I mean, obviously OG lose, so it's not the strongest performance because we know they're capable of winning as they do the next 2 games. It's an interesting draft they did do because, like Stan said, Furion, the Nature's Prophet, was the hard one. His farm was the most all game, and he had very aggressive offensive items like a very fast Orchid. He finishes with Bloodthorn, with an AC, with a Hex. So he's the damage dealer, and you can see that in the items of Anna's Void. Anna has to go, or chooses to go BKB, Manta, Lincolns, much more defensive items. And he's the one with the chrono setup, but then not the one who's going to be dealing the most damage and not going to be the one truly carrying the game if OG were to win. And to me, that makes me think, it's kind of a surprise that OG ran that kind of strategy, because you would say, well, if you had the choice of Anna hard carry, Seb more utility, or reverse the two and have Seb hard carry, hard farm, and Anna less so, you would have thought OG know the best on Anna having the hard farm and hard carry, but the way they played this game, it wasn't like that. Maybe they're experimenting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Seb loves his Prophet. He played a bunch of Prophet last TI. It is a strat they have, and they always do find hard farm, but often Anna finds a lot of farm as well.
He did, but he was never an X-Factor threat, I don't think. I don't think he could ever 100-0 a core of LGD, because he doesn't have damage items to do that. He doesn't have an MKB or a Bloodlust, or, I don't know, Butterfly. He doesn't have massive damage output, so I always felt like a lot of the game is on Seb's shoulders to do major work. Don't know. I mean, I'm not flaming Seb being a bad player. He's a very good player, but I don't think he could hard carry a game against LGD. So on the draft, looking at and the strategy, I do feel like it was always favouring LGD a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said at the start, this Ember Spirit with the Rady pickup was really good for the game. It was a really good last pick. They actually banned Sven, OG do, in the last ban. The Ember Spirit ends up being much better. They're just flying around, especially when they get the Ags picked up. It's so easy to reach this Zeus. It's really easy to reach this ET that just wants to be throwing out stomps on the back.
Yeah.
And it causes so many problems. And with the BKB, Seb can't kill this hero, even if he gets the Bloodborne. And even with a Hex, there's the Oracle save as well. I mean, it's a super solid strategy from LGD.
Yeah, very, very solid.
With an X-Factor, Ember.
X-Nova Oracle was a very great pick as well. Magic resistance against the Zeus.
Yeah.
is a big one. Even the I don't know, like ET, Jerax has some annoying stuff.
Pango,
Just the defensive capability of the Oracle has really brought together LGD's draft nicely.
Yeah. Game 2, this game was just LGD, I think, dropped the ball in the draft. I think they don't realise how good Chen Alchemist is, because Alchemist was... I don't know if Alchemist... Was that... Wait, let me just check. Was Alchemist completely ignored in the previous game, not even contested? Yeah, so Alchemist wasn't even contested in the previous game. And LGD, I think it's going to be contested for the rest of the tournament because we got a Chen Alch game here. OG pick Chen, and then Tiny. They don't even pick up the Alchemist until the second phase. They go Alch Darkseer. LGD end up picking a Dragon Knight that felt really useless in this game. Maybe 0-5-0. That's probably the worst score he's ever had in a pro game. DK not offering anything. Thompson played a really good Tiny in this game, doing lots of work. And then Seb exemplifying why Darkseer is a pick when combined with Alch, and also especially in the lane when combined with Spirit Breaker. That's actually a strong lane that gets rid of some of the initial problems that Darkseer has. And this was just a easy game for OG in the end. They get a Radiance at 10 minutes on Ana. That's the fastest I've seen all event.
Yeah. A 10-minute Radi, a 13-minute BKB is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I think you highlighted maybe 050 DK. I think you would say the DK pick was the biggest downfall in the LGD draft, because in the first 10 minutes, the likes of Darkseer and Barra, Spirit Breaker, and a bit of No-Tail were able to create... I mean, they obviously made so much space for Ana to get a 10-minute Radi. And even though LGD, I think they have very good heroes to contend with early game aggression. So they have Jakiro on FY and a Sand King. They're two strong laners. You also have a Sven. He can get involved with a stun and a God Strength, followed by an X-Nova Shadow Demon. So to me, they do have the heroes that can fight in the first 10 minutes. Somehow, well, maybe because of the DK, they didn't have enough oomph in the first 10 minutes to truly disrupt the Alchemist enough. We have seen other pro games where Alchemist gets a 14, sometimes 15-minute Radi, and that's because his farm's disrupted. In this case, Ana had the freest of games, which is obviously going to be scary.
I think they picked the DK with the idea of we're going to take this mid tower as early as possible and then open up the jungle.
They kind of struggled to do that.
It just didn't really happen.
He also went Midas, and that's questionable. Sven went Midas, got it decent time, 8 minutes. DK gets Midas 10 minutes, but Radi is on Alchemist at 10 minutes, so what's your DK Midas going to do? To me, it looked like LGD had remnants of that Vici game in mind, where they got triple Midas on the 3 cores, and I think they kind of got blinded by that game and thought, like when we played Vici, who were going to play a game of Farm Simulator, we'll match it and outdo it by getting double Midas on our cores. Well, in that game it was triple Midas. I feel like they had thoughts of that in this one and go, we'll just get double Midas on our cores, we'll win these lanes of our strong laners, and we'll just, they'll have 1 core, we'll have 2-3 cores, but
Alch comes on so fast. It comes online so quickly. I don't think people realise this hero is literally ready to high ground at 13 minutes with Radi BKB.
But I think they underestimated how much the Darkseer and Chen synergize with him. I think if they don't have Darkseer, maybe if they don't have Chen, I think LGD had in mind just an Alchemist isolated on its own, in which case it's hard for an Alchemist to do work. It does come online because it gets this really fast Radi, but... Against,
you can deal with it.
You can deal with it if you
when it's got these steroids, you can't deal with it as well.
But when you've got the heal of Chen, but also the heal synergy of Chen amplifies Alch's HP regen from Divine Favor, massive synergy there. Then also with the Darkseer synergy of Surge, Alch's getting in and out of fights really fast and regen into HP like a Slark really fast, and you're not able to blow the hero, and the Darkseer is creating too much control elsewhere. It's, to me, LGD didn't factor in that synergy that made Alch double steroids kind of hero. Go on.
And also, there were 2 critical fights in this game.
Yeah.
And in both of them, in the first fight, it's at the 10-minute mark, and Alch picks up a Radi as he's running into the fight. perfect timing from OG. They've obviously planned this, and they've itemized. There's 2 braces on Topson. There's 2 braces on Jerax. I mean, not at this point, but just in terms of how they're itemizing to just be tanky and sustain. There's a bracer on Anna as well. I believe that first fight is the one in which Chalice's TP is cancelled.
Yeah.
So Chalice he's got a fast Veil, 6-minute Veil. He's the one that outputs all of their damage.
He's Sanking.
Sanking, yeah. He's the one that outputs pretty much all of their damage at this point, or the vast majority of it. He's in the top lane, and Jerax is in the trees, the Spirit Breaker, as this fight's happening. And Jerax obviously has eyes on Chalice, and so he doesn't charge mid to join the fight. Instead, he waits for Chalice to TP, sees the TP, and charges and cancels the TP.
I think that moment, that play of Jerax is literally game-winning, because if that Sanking stun TP finishes, they had Anna, and I believe Mad on Darkseer, and even maybe Topson, 3 heroes, I'm sure, were all at tier 1 mid, diving heroes, and that Sanking was genuinely set up to finish his TP, land a 3-man burrow, Sandstorm, Veil, Epi, everybody. Absolute certainty LGD wipe. But it doesn't happen because of Jerax interrupting that TP. And obviously, OG know that he's going to interrupt it, so they know they've got free range to dive the tower. They do consequently dive the tower, and they're not stopped by this critical Sanking hero. Kill 4 heroes probably, and it's just GG from there, because then 13-minute BKB, and it's GG from that fight.
Yeah, and the second fight, the one that really ends the game, again, they pick up a BKB as the fight is starting on Alchemist.
Yeah.
And he survives because of that BKB.
And the surge, they couldn't... He went in... I think he dived the base a bit, but then gets surged and just lives because he's so fast that these synergies come into play, and yeah...
That was all she wrote, pretty much.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal. So then Game 3, do they ban the Alchemist? Nope. So Game 3, LGD don't first phase to ban the Alchemist. They do the same 3 bans of IO, Ench, Mag.
Which they did in every game.
Yeah.
And the interesting part about this draft was OG first picked Chen, and then they obviously have 2 picks on LGD, and the panel are saying...
You know Alk is coming.
Yeah, so Gunnar, particularly on the panel, is saying they have to pick Alk here, because you can't give away Chen Alk, it's too strong. They have to pick it. LGD don't, they go ET Tiny, and then OG pick the Alk on 10, and the draft unfolds with some other interesting picks as it goes out. After picking ET and Tiny, LGD picks Shadow Demon Sanking. OG matched their Chen Alk with Tide Hunter Rubik. And then the last phase is very interesting because OG picked Legion Commander, which I thought would be a mid-Legion on Topson. And then against the Tiny. And then LGD picked Slark, last pick, which had a great game. Slark had a great game in this one, and it seemed like a really good pick. OG ended up running mid Tide Hunter with Seb on Legion Commander, which is interesting. Mid Tide Hunter, that's the first time this event that's come out. And the game is looking good for LGD. They have gold leads versus an Alchemist. 22 minutes in, they're 2k ahead. The raid is way delayed. 14 minutes, so a full 4 minutes later. That is huge in the early game. Tiny, they have a way more active hero on Somnus, and he finishes 11-3 in this one, doing a lot of work. Managing to shut down the Alk's farm really well. Topson, he's not able to rotate. Tiny is the one that's rotating out of mid rather than Topson's Tide. Seb has a pretty good time as the Legion Commander, and Slark's kind of behind. But the other 2 cores, that being Chalice and Maybe, have a really good game. And when you have a Sanking and a Tiny that have had a really good start, running around with Soulcatcher and Elder Titan, they're able to achieve much more in terms of shutting down this Alchemist. And they look like they're going to win.
Yeah. So LGD obviously, I think obviously knew Alk was coming. They first pick Shadow Demon in the second phase because of an Alchemist, and they obviously let the Alchemist go. So they very much knew what they were getting themselves into, and like you say, they had a gold advantage and the game was looking decent. I think it slipped at one point in the mid game. You see a spike on the gold graph, and LGD were very much back foot. Alk started getting pretty farmed. They hit this 30-minute mark where he's got AC and Hart and nearly Mjolnir, so he is a bit of a raid boss around the 33-minute mark. And I remember there was a big push top that OG did, but LGD held, amazing hold. They had Charles on Sand King blinking into the backlines of OG and cutting them off. I think Slark also went into the backlines. Meanwhile, Alk was a bit isolated in the base, and then Tiny and E.T., Child Demon were dealing with him. It was an incredible hold. They were doing really, really well. And I think they did have the game in their favour at this 30 to 35 minute mark, because they started having the Tiny and Slark come online. Slark
was looking scary. He was killing heroes.
He was looking scary. He was getting his essence. He was getting his BKBs, and he was getting a Silver's Edge.
He's running down heroes. There was a point where he wrapped on Jerax.
Yeah.
And it felt like OG were leaking kills at that point.
They were leaking kills to Slark. He was strong, and maybe he also was getting these critical... We spoke about it yesterday. The Daedalus Ags combo started coming online. That was on Daedalus at 35 minutes. So now it's like, okay, maybe he's got crazy damage potential. We've got the tools we need. Alk does start to dip off after 30 minutes because he gets 6 slotted so fast, and thereafter, the relative difference between his strength and the strength of LGD cores falls. So LGD's 2 cores start catching up, and you're thinking they're going to be strong enough to take this game. I think what then happened, maybe around 35, 36 minutes, was a bit of an LGD throw.
It was an LGD...
at the Rosh, trying to contest Rosh.
Yeah.
Or some buyback usage that was a bit off.
Well, the bit that... There was a spike in the graph in which OG come ahead at about 24 minutes. I can't quite remember that one.
Adam mentioned it to us about maybe throwing game 3, and I think it was to do with something around the Rosh pit. Or some
there
Rosh
was
play.
There was a point where I think OG go high ground top.
Yeah.
Sorry, not top. Bottom lane.
Yeah.
They're going high ground into the dire, and LGD goes for a blink play and just gets punished straight away and dies. I don't know if that's that initial blow, and they get the racks, hence the goal graph going in favour of OG. But what I do remember is the moment at 35 minutes, which is Slark gets completely destroyed instantly because Tide Hunter has Ags Deso. Alk has synthed Topson in Ags, so he has minus armor on Gush and the big Gush, as we know, and he has a Desolator, and he has Solar Crest. Crazy damage, way more than I think anyone on LGD expected, and Slark gets blown instantly, I think maybe in a dual duration or something, just destroyed out of nowhere because Slark's been this super monster hero, and then OG goes straight into the Roche pit, and then LGD really botched this contest. I don't know if they buy back on Slark at that point, but they do a real botch job of contesting the pit at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right that blow on Arme was super unexpected, and then did shake them, because then you've got this issue of do we buy back, do we not, do we engage, do we not, and then you get this disconnect between what the team actually does and OG really capitalised. I don't even think it was a duel. I think Arme got his ult off, but then Ankh Smash of Tide, so who's got this 25 talent of 250 damage? Or is it 350? Must be 250 or 200. He's got Deso, he's got Acid Spray minus armor, he's got Gush, which is minus armor, he's got a Gush talent, probably, minus armor, he's got Axe from Alk, which gives, I think, more minus armor on the Gush, Acid Spray we've said, then there's Medallion Solar Crest in play also, and there's an AC in play also on Alchemist, but there's no AC on LGD. Everything I've mentioned there is minus armor, and Topson was Anchor Smashing the hundreds, multiplied by some factor from the minus armor, and Arme did literally just get 1-shot, 2-shot almost, and it came out of nowhere. The viewers didn't know what the hell happened. Obviously, OG knew that this play was going to happen. LGD were not expecting it, and yeah, when the Slark died, that was his second death of the game in a 42 minute game. He'd been doing so well, but then just pops, and that was really the start of the end.
Yeah, and then I think after that, botched Roche contest.
Yeah.
OG come to push top lane, and then LGD kind of fall apart. Tiny doesn't buy back, Tiny's dead. So there's just 4 heroes on LGD, and that's the moment where Chalice decides to do his epicenter blink Boris Strike play. And I think LGD fans would have been wondering why he didn't just wait 10 seconds for Tiny to do that.
That's true, actually.
Having said that, though, the 25 talent on Alchemist, when you go this right click build, looked obscene with the base attack time on Chemical Rage. He chunked through buildings instantly, especially with the Deso there from Tide. And they give Tide the Aegis, they give Cheese to Alchemist, and so Tide suddenly is able to frontline with this crazy damage, and if anyone wants to try and contest him, they're going to get this minus armor Anchor Smash Gush combo, and they're going to be destroyed.
That rush was game winning because Thompson had brought back on Tide.
Yeah.
Because LGD in some skirmishes or something had been doing really well, and at one point picked off Tide, who then brought back, and maybe another OG guy brought back. So we're getting into this late game, real sketchy time of if you get a kill and someone doesn't have buyback, you can close out a game in 30 seconds. But then by getting the rush, Tide that gets Aegis, and his game is just completely enabled by that. Yeah, cheeses as well, make it super hard. So OG, we're able to close it out. It is really annoying that Alk, as a hero that's so stupidly potentially strong in the early game with Grievel's Greed, is that the whole point, or one of the counters aside from early game aggression, is that if you get to a point where one team's got an Alchemist that's one Omega Fat core, one way you beat it is that you have two fat cores on the other team, like we have in this game, Slark and Tiny. But then he gets this talent that makes his DPS...
And he gets Cleave as well.
Oh, that's it. He has two talents, Cleave, and that minus base attack time 25 talent, that both enable him to be a dick right clicker, where in the past, that's why we saw magic damage builds on Alk, because he didn't have the capability of being a hard, fast right clicker.
And you get buffed for simping your friend's Agonins. So he just doesn't fall off, really, anymore. He just doesn't fall off like he used to.
So now he's still a late game beast because of those talents, and it's kind of annoying, because the heroes are a pain to play against.
Yeah, man, I hate Alchemist. I mean, I like it when OG win with it, but I hate the hero. Final series of the day, Team Liquid versus Secret. I was really excited for this one. Clash of the Titans, Kuro versus Puppey. Liquid have eliminated Secret in the last two TIs, TI 7 and 8, and they'll add TI 9 to that list. They look incredible in the lower bracket. They've really found their mojo. Their strategies are synergizing. They're on the same page. They look confident. And this game, Secret, they bring out the first pick Io, the Nisha Io, confident after winning with it against Vici Gaming. But Liquid have a plan. They let it through. They have a plan. It's a Weeha Meepo, and it's a Miracle Leshrac. They're going to run at you. They have a Chen and an Earth Spirit. And while, yes, they have Omni Knight on Secret to buff up this Io to help out, the other cores, the OD, quite slow, not great against Meepo. Earthshaker, sure, he's okay against Meepo. In this game, his start was terrible. He had no XP. Unusual for Yapzor. Couldn't really offer much in this game. By the time he got a blink, they were already very far behind. And Liquid, they get a good start on this Meepo, and they never really look back. They get on top of Io and kill him quickly. That's the beauty of this Meepo. And this game was quite brutal, I suppose. It was Liquid were in control, it felt like, for most of it.
Yeah. The key moment in this game was, for like 14 minutes, Liquid with Weeha Meepo, they pick off maybe two heroes of Secret. I can't exactly remember how, but they get these two pickoffs right near the Rosh pit. And as a Meepo, Rosh is always a possibility. Those kills allowed them to go straight into the pit. He gets a 14-minute Aegis. It times also with getting an E-Blade at 14 minutes. At that point, the power of the Meepo was just... It was too much for Secret to handle. I think Secret's draft, so they've got this carry Io Nisha. They've stomped Vici with Io, did they?
Yep.
Yeah, and we've obviously seen other carry Ios stomp as well. I think Secret backed it, and I think the rest of the draft also complemented it. I think Omni Knight was a very strong synergy. I think their intention was, we're going to have this carry Io come online in the mid game. What we also want is, we know the other team wants to kind of ball and end us before that's possible. Okay, we draft these good team fighters, Doc, Earthshaker, Omni Knight, and OD. They are capable at team fighting. They've got big ultimates, big AoE spells that want to take skirmishes with 3, 4, 5 heroes. However, I do think the Secret team just cracked a bit under the pressure, and I think draft-wise, I think both teams are really solid. Yeah, they've got Chen, Kuroki, which is a really strong TI hero, the Chen, or the Synergy, maybe. But I think drafting is fine. I think it's just the player performance came into it. I think Wee was on a high. They've been winning so many lower bracket games. He was ready to school. He was ready to be flashy and to carry Liquid. Same with Miracle on a Lesh. Maybe it's a bit uncommon to him.
They were feeling themselves.
They were feeling themselves. They were
you can see by the way they were running in.
Kills,
there was a big skirmish in that dire top jungle area where Miracle he ends up dying in this fight.
Yeah.
Runs in with the BKB reveal and is just pounding Pulse Nova and Edict on like 3 different heroes, just like super aggro play, really playing aggressively. He gets punished for it and dies. Doesn't matter in this game because it shows how confident Liquid are feeling, and they were really confident against this secret pick, which to me, this secret pick is, and I mean, I don't want to bash secret of course, but just, you get a part of you does feel that, oh, we smashed Vici Gaming with this IO pick, let's pick it again and, hopefully we'll smash again. It's not, it's like, Secret they're not a carry IO team, sure they won with it.
Yeah.
It's against Vici though, I feel like, whereas Liquid on the other hand, here's how we're going to beat Secret, not here's how we think we're going to win a game. Like, let's just pick something that we've already seen work and hopefully it'll work again. Liquid are like, we can do what we like, we're going to pick Meepo. I'm just going to beat you, like, straight up.
Yeah, I think the confidence thing is massive because the pace that Liquid played was too fast for Secret, and Secret were never able to hang on, really. The tempo was too hard, too fast. And to me, Puppy's post-game interview is a really interesting one, the loser's interview. And one of the points he talks about is the pressure of TI, and I think that although Secret had won a couple of games in the lower bracket, Zai's played a couple of TIs, but most of their players, Nisha's first TI, I think the whole team, we heard about Mid-One feeling like he was cracking earlier in the event. I think the pressure really got to Team Secret. Maybe, well, it won't have got to Puppy, but I think the rest of the team really felt it, and I think Team Liquid, who were coming at them on crazy form,
and they've got nothing to lose.
Liquid, got nothing to lose. They're not the ones who've smashed EBC. They're not the ones that everyone's saying is going to win TI.
And they've come all the way from the lower bracket round 1. It's like, we're just on a high to be here.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't get this far.
So I think the draft and the idea that it has and the way the game could or should have played out for Secret, when your players aren't playing fast enough and you're not confident enough, these points about pressure and holding your nerve are massive at TI. And Puppy was saying how drafts which put teams under pressure or put teams on a timer, or drafts which punish teams massively, e.g. Alchemist, e.g. Carry IO, he was like, if this draft came up in the season when everyone is outside TI just playing the best Dota they can under far less pressure, he's like, yeah, we would and could beat these drafts easy. But you get to TI and it's a whole different ball game, and just the fact that you're now playing in a game on a massive stage for massive stakes, where you know that if we don't make something happen in the first 5 minute in this 5 minute window, if we leak any death or leak any objective, the game's going to be 10 times hard. They all do play mentally, and Puppy definitely alluded to the fact that his team kind of cracked under the pressure that TI brings, and yeah, it's pretty interesting to hear about.
Game 2 then, 40-minute game. Secret hang on till the very end here. The game was sort of over before that, really. First pick, Alchemist. They just straight up pick it on 7, and then they follow up with the Darkseer. Darkseer, man, this hero has gone from untouched in the groups to now this premier Alch setup hero with the Surge and the Iron Shell. I think it's unbeaten on the main stage, right? 4 games, 4 wins?
Is that what happened today? There's definitely at least 3.
3 games, 3 wins, maybe. I think 2 from Liquid, 1 from OG. Again, good display here. Winter Wyvern, another lesser seen hero. Got some great, Winter's curses and fight resets here in some critical moments.
Yeah. I think the Wyvern pick was a very clutch pick from Team Liquid, because Team Secret have Magnus, and there were 2 moments, like you say in particular, where RP lands, it lands on 3 heroes both times, and Wyvern just resets his ultimate with a curse. Complete reset. 3, if that Wyvern didn't exist, if that Wyvern ult didn't happen, if the Wyvern was caught, etc., Secret were winning fights. Fact.
Because all you need is to delay the initial damage in this RP duration coming from this empowered Bristleback that's going to hit super hard.
And empowered Wraith King.
And ET, whatever the stomp his ult is called, Split Earth or whatever. All you need is to stop that. Suddenly you've got Greaves from Mind Control, you've got Chemical Rage Heal, you've even got Cold Embrace. It's like...
You might pop your BKB.
You might pop BKB, exactly. And when you're with this ALK draft, if you don't burst them with that initial quick spell usage with the RP, you're not going to kill them.
No.
So that's why this Wyvern was so good. And it had a pretty free game. I know in the post-game, the analysts were going through some replays showing how, because of the way Secret were fighting and the way Liquid were sort of controlling the team fights with X-Mark and hard disable coming from Kuroki's Shadow Shaman, Secret's heroes weren't able to get on top of this Wyvern. The Bristle was elsewhere. The Wraith King is stunning other heroes, trying to kill this Darkseer, a lot of focus on this Darkseer, which allowed GH to position perfectly in these fights. He's got Aether Lens, he's got Blink by 25 minutes.
Yeah.
It's easy for him to counter this RP, and it's almost an impossible job for Zai.
It is. It's the point of ease of execution. And Magnus drafts, I've said it before, one of the reasons I'm not into this hero is that you can have very often games which rely on a 3-man RP. In this case, it had to be 4 because Wyvern had to be in it. Yeah. He lands 2 amazing RPs, but it's relatively so easy for GH with a smoke, or he's got Aether Lens, be in the background, cast Winter's Curse from miles away. It's nigh on impossible for Zai to stop that unless Secret find a pick on Wyvern first hand, but I mean, GH world-class player, it's not going to happen that easily. So how to execute this RP and largely the Secret draft is just really, really difficult. And also, to me, it comes to the point of, so Liquid first pick ALK, it's that thing again of Liquid puts so much pressure on Secret to make plays happen and to win the game. They first pick ALK and go, come at us, we believe you do not have the steel or the capability to win this game, despite the fact all our cards and all our eggs are shown with this ALK pick.
It's almost like in the game before, in the first game, Secret try and do here's our carry IO, it's unbeaten on the main stage, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Pressure's on you. Suddenly Liquid are like, well, we're going to last pick a Meepo, comes online faster than your IO.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
It's like quicker.
Yeah.
We're going to play faster. What are you going to do about it? And then here, like you say, they pick ALK. What are you going to do about it? The pressure's on you. You're going to pick a Wraith King Bristle Mag lineup? I mean, really? Is that what you're going to play in your elimination game? That's not what Secret want to play in their elimination game, I'm pretty certain.
I think that draft does win that game, or can win that game a lot,
certainly, outside
of TI, but again, this RP and on the main stage, and you're relying on a buff Wraith King and a buff Bristleback. I don't know, I mean, I can see the draft, and to me, they did have some glimpse of hope, but in the first 10 minutes, I think Secret were doing really well. I think the gold was decent. What's ALK's timings? It was a 13-minute raidie. It's not the fastest raidie. They're doing okay, but I then remember this 10 to 20 period where Secret were like, we're just going to sit and farm. Meanwhile, Liquid do the same, and I was a bit unsure about this. It was a very low activity period. I'm a bit unsure because obviously you've got ALK farming versus a Wraith King Bristleback. The Bristleback, how much work can it really do? Not sure, but anyway, Liquid are able to Team Secret, are able to delay the game. Obviously, it's a 40-minute game, so they do delay it quite well. But honestly, these big team fights, when it comes down to it, they weren't able to execute because it's just so damn hard to do so.
Yeah.
The Mind Control Darkseer, like we've mentioned, did do major work with enabling the Alchemist with Surge. Basically, just that made Alchemist so hard to catch and kill.
It's not also as well, the Surge, what I was going to say is, it makes it so punishing because if you're ever on the back foot, you've got an ALK that's charging up unstable concoction, Surge running through your jungle. It lets you play so much faster.
Yeah.
You're going to have a hero. I mean, ALK's got Rady Blink at 19 minutes, and it felt as soon as he had that, the gap close was ridiculous. I mean, there was one point where they captured Yapsaw running between the mid tier 1 and 2. It's almost like he started charging unstable concoction from Dire's bottom tier 1.
Yeah.
And then he runs Surge all the way through the jungle, and it's like, pop, like I've got Radiance and I'm on top of you. It's so punishing.
Yeah.
And it's like, comes together with all the things we've been saying. It's another thing to think about. It's another pressure cooker thing of like, oh, not only have we just lost this fight or we're on the back foot, now there's a Surged Alchemist that could be running at us.
And also, in times for Secret when they maybe think they could get something out of the game, they finish the game with 10 kills, which says a lot. You have a Bristleback and a Wraith King slowly trying to chase, say, a Surged Alchemist or a Surged Kunkka. It was really hard for Liquid to output the damage that they could have.
Yeah.
Because you've got an RP for your lockdown. It's not like you've got a Blink Burst Ike on 2 heroes or Fisher AoE control for 6 seconds. You've got an RP. And often they really did just struggle to output any damage. And I think credit to Secret, I was impressed that they kept holding on and they dragged the game, like we said.
Incredible hold at one point in this game, wasn't there? Just a ridiculous hold.
Yeah, there was a crazy hold.
It was a previous game with the Omni Knight. Ridiculous hold in the previous game.
But they did still hold
Still
Liquid.
very good holds.
And I think I was impressed because that's what they kind of needed to do. Like we've said, if you have a really fat Wraith King and a really fat Bristleback, both within power, you do have the tools to just boom an Alchemist and boom a Kunkka the Kunkka wasn't that crazy farmed or threatening. So I feel like they had the potential, but to execute was so hard, and Liquid were just too fast, too mobile, and Secret not able to keep up. Heroes maybe not able to keep up. I think my final comment would be that there was one final hold that Secret had before Megas went and the tier 4 started being bashed, where I felt like Zai could have done some initiation before the Megas would go or something.
Some blink skewers, yeah.
But by that time it was obviously pretty rough, so...
Yeah. I would say, shout out to Miracle. I thought he played really well in this game on Kunkka. He just goes phase, Spirit Vessel, Crimson Guard, Solar Crest, purely enabling the draft, enabling the strategy. He played well. I mean, he doesn't play Kunkka mid, so he messed up some combos.
Oh my god, he messed up a few times.
Yeah, at least twice.
Yeah.
With like torrent, X-Mark torrent combos.
But the fact both Miracle and we have 0 deaths, 40-minute game against Team Secret.
Yeah.
It's really
impressive.
Yeah. And that a large part to the Darkseer and also to the Wyvern pick. Very smart Wyvern pick, so...
Yeah. And that was that. New heroes.
Yeah.
Another new hero, Force Spirit. Adam saw this one coming.
Void Spirit.
I was
the fourth Spirit.
Yeah. We'll have to see about that one. I think we're hoping for a carry over at New Meta. We're hoping for a carry podcast.
We've lobbied Ice Road quite a bit.
Yeah.
We said we'll give him a pod appearance if he makes a carry, so...
Yeah. So I have to see about that. That was a fun one. But it's not over yet. LGD versus Team Liquid in the lower bracket final before OG in the grand final. What do you think is going to happen, Marco? What do you see happening? My
heart says LGD are going to crush Liquid 2-0 and crush OG 3-0 because I'm now written off that VG tattoo for an LGD tattoo. In reality, I do think, although Liquid are on mad form, I think LGD are a class team that are capable of beating them 2-1. I think Liquid will get a favourable draft/strategy one game to take one, but I think LGD are the better team, and I think they've got the mentality as well. They are, like you've said, they've been in this position before last year, the exact same position.
And they 2-0'd at UG team that were looking good in the lower bracket.
They've been in grand finals with TI before, so they're very used to this pressure scenario, and because of that, I think they'll hold their own against Liquid, even though they're riding high. And then come grand final, OG LGD, it's grand finals are an entity in themselves. It's going to be weird and crazy. I want OG to not win. I don't want 2-time TI winners to be the entire OG squad, because none of the players are my favourite. Not in a negative way, but I'm not drawn to any of their players, so I'd rather Elva players be 2-time winners first.
Yeah, you've got favourite players that you want.
Yeah, another, my
dream. I mean, OG, so you reckon OG, LGD, that's like a toss-up, who knows?
I think it's so hard to call, because grand finals are just... It's not like other finals where C-Deck gets slapped by EG or Wings school DC,
or even
or even
Liquid Newbie. You felt like it was going to be Liquid were way phased. They looked so good at that point.
But last season, OG showed us a TI, not just grand final, but a whole TI event where class and expectations were just completely flipped by the style of Dota that they can play, which is.
And the precedent that we've seen,
Dota.
The precedent we've seen the last 3 times these two teams have met in this upper bracket final, last year's grand final, and last year's upper bracket final.
Yeah.
OG got the better, but I mean, every series has come down to the final game, and it's been so tight. Last year's grand final,
oh my god,
it was every game was back and forth.
If you've not watched OG LGD's games from last TI, you very much should, because they are some of the most entertaining games in Dota to have ever happened. So back and forth, they were going to the wire. OG on the ropes like time and time again, but were able to hold on, find openings, make cracks in LGD happen, and then find wins. Crazy stuff. Will the grand final be like that this time in this upper bracket final? It wasn't as crazy as last year because OG looked more competent in the draft and execution, and I think it'll be similar in the grand final. I think OG will execute a couple of good drafts, so I don't think it'll be as crazy Dota.
The thing with this TI, to me, it feels like going into this final day, the strategy, the first phase strategy feels even more important than like ever before in terms of what heroes you let out, what heroes you don't let out, particularly LGD OG, because they're so used to each other.
Yeah.
They really know what heroes each other's want. Does Enchantress slip out? It's a hero that defined yesterday. We didn't even see it today.
Yeah, it's funny.
Does Magnus slip out against OG? Because LGD might think, we've seen Magnus fail for some other teams. Can OG, is it really first phaseable when we could ban an Alchemist? Do you let OG take Jug Mag first phase? Like they probably would. Are OG bluffing? Maybe they wouldn't go Jug Mag because they actually, who knows? Does IO carry come out? Does LGD just think, let's just prep for that? Who knows?
I reckon LGD will let IO slip through one game, maybe game one, because they'll want to see if the theory crafting of how to beat a carry IO works. Because I think if LGD can win a game, maybe game one, against carry IO, that sets them up big time, because then that means they can go into game two going, we know how, and we have proven that we can beat carry IO, and then that hurts OG a lot, because now they go, do we still back our strategy, or do we have to change? LGD can maybe be more confident in not having to ban that hero and ban something else. The meta of the bans and picks,
I do also,
evolves every game in the grand final.
Yeah, and a final thing I think as well, the reason Enchantress wasn't picked today, in my opinion, is because in all the series other than the upper bracket final, there's a team that wants to pick Ench and there's a team that doesn't. I think when LGD play OG, both teams love this Ench. Chalice loves Ench. Seb loves Ench.
Yeah.
Seb just loves everything that's really good. So it'll be interesting to see whether one of those teams lets Ench through. That will be interesting. I think Ench could come out because I think both teams will be happy to pick it. So both teams might think, for example, LGD might think, well, we're going to OG have first pick. Let's let out Ench and IO. If they choose IO, we choose Ench. If they choose Ench, then they're not going to pick IO because they're never going to pair an IO Ench. Or just things like that, or... No, who knows? It's grand finals mind games. Who knows?
I think OG will be prepped with some relatively wacky drafts, because I think they'll recognise that they need to be disruptive.
They need to put LGD
be surprising
out of their comfort zone.
They know that pressure is one of the biggest factors of TI, particularly when you're in the grand final. So I think OG will look to try and put LGD under pressure, be that with IO or Alchemists, but also with more peculiar kind of drafts that we've not seen yet, or strategies we've not seen yet, whereas LGD, I think, wouldn't take that approach as much.
LGD would like to... If LGD could pick two lineups that are relatively even... If LGD could random... Well, I don't know. LGD have their heroes probably more than OG, so maybe not random heroes, but if it's like a standard game or whatever, which I think is a bit of a myth in Dota, but in theory, they'd probably rather have that, because OG, definitely one of the strongest points of OG is that they're not playing OG is not like playing any other team at TI.
Yeah.
It's totally different. And so that means that LGD, yeah, great. You smash Vici Gaming, you smash Virtus Pro. You look like the best team in groups. Like, who cares? You're not playing the same game anymore. You're playing against us, you're playing against OG. Yeah. We've got our papers, we've got our weird tricks. And this isn't going to be a normal Dota game for us. For you, sorry. We're in our comfort zone with our weird strats, and you're not because you have to think on the fly.
Yeah. I think
so that'll be OG strategy, probably.
I think they'll bring out some new synergy and strategies, like how Chen Alk was revealed today, and it looked super strong, and it's probably a combo that's not been seen at TI yet, but then we see it today and we see its strength in action. I feel like, and I really do hope that OG shows some creative Dota that people just have yet to really seen before, because they are innovative in that way. So it is going to be exciting. Maybe the last comment is, should OG get banned from TI for the pretentious walkout with the
with the notes?
With the notes.
Well, I want them to trolley out notes tomorrow. I want Seb to push a trolley in front of him full of notes. I want them to buy out a paper store. So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Join us again then for the last pod. We might have a guest appearance for Brother Joe to fill in for Adam, we hope. Until then,